Okay, we're in the third aliya, Numbers chapter 28 from Pinkas, verse 52. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Thou shalt apportion the land among these as an inheritance in accordance with the number of names. To the large tribe you shall give a larger inheritance, to the small tribe you shall give a smaller inheritance. Each person shall be given an inheritance according to his number. Only through lot shall the land be apportioned. They shall inherit it according to the names of their father's tribe. So it's going to be a point, it's like the actual location of each tribe's plot of land or location of land is going to be random. It's going to be done by lottery. So that way nobody could complain that they got, like they can't say, oh, you gave the good land to that tribe. It kind of defeats that argument, doesn't it? But if you're like the tribe that got the, kind of the crappy area, let's say, there it's really super hard to develop or whatever it was, you're not going to be so happy. But really, it wasn't, it had nothing to do with you specifically. It just happened to be random. If you can say that there's something random in the Torah because everything happens because of God's will. So it's interesting that this whole situation is through what's called a goral, which we would translate as a lot or lottery. One of those things in the Torah that's kind of funny. Okay. The inheritance shall be a portion between the numerous and the few according to the lot. Okay, so these are the numbers. These are the numbers of the Levites according. Now, remember, I said that the Levites were not counted in that census. So here we go. And they don't get an inheritance. The Levites, they live, and they live with everybody else in different. And there's certain cities of the Levites that if somebody accidentally murders somebody, if you have a manslaughter, that you can go run to one of these cities of the Levites. There was 9 locations that you could run to. These are the families of the Levi, of Levi, the family of the Libanites, and the family of the Hebronites, the family of the Machalites, and the family of the Mushites, and the family of the Kohites, and the Kahat Begat Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Yocheved, the daughter of Levi, and whom her mother had born to Levi in Egypt. She bore Amram, Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. So now we know Moses' lineage and Aaron's lineage and Miriam's lineage. Born to Aaron was Nadab, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. Now we know that Nadab and Avihu died because they gave this strange fire. So in the end, Aaron only had 2 sons that carried on. Nadab and Avihu died when they offered up an unauthorized fire before the Lord. See, I told you, I'm not just making this up. It's right here in the Torah. And those counted of them were 23,000, every male aged 1 month and upward. Just remember, the Levites are not counted from 20, they're counted from 1 month, and they don't serve in the army. For they were not counted among the children of Israel, since no inheritance was given them among the children of Israel. Now, this isn't like no inheritance. What it means is they didn't have a specific area of land, but they had a lot. They got to work in the base of Bigdash. And then later they got to work in the first and second temple. So it's not like they got nothing. But they didn't get a specific land location. This was the census of Moses and Eleazar the Cohen, who counted the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho. This is super boring. Moses didn't do the counting by himself. He had a helper. This is one of the many things in Judaism that is taught, is that you can't really do things by yourself, and you always really should have somebody else helping you, and you're not ever alone. In Judaism, it's very rare that it mentions a certain situation where there's a person alone. Actually happened to Yaakov Avinu, who eventually got the name Israel. When he was all by himself, remember way back in Bereshit, he crossed over the river and he took this he left behind like this pottery, this like jar of oil, I think it was, whatever it was. He was all by himself, and when he was all by himself, he was attacked by the angel of Asaph. Whatever that story is, it happened because he was all by himself. So we don't really like to be by ourselves in Judaism. This is something that's not really emphasized a lot, and I think people should really look into it because it's an interesting idea that I think that I'm onto, is that really we're never alone. And the Talmud makes a lot of points about this, that we're not ever really alone. Okay. I mean, there's always Hashem, right? But I'm talking about like just humans. We're never really by ourselves. No man is an island, right? Okay, and among there was no man who had been included in the census that of Moses and Aaron when they counted the children of Israel in the Sinai desert. I don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, right, because the first census, so of all those people that were counted before, none of those people that were counted before were counted in this count because those people died. This is a totally different generation. I mean, it's 38, almost 40 years later. So everybody that was previously counted in the previous census died, and here we have a different count, and that's what it means. Okay. For the Lord had said to them, they shall surely die in the desert, and no one was left of them but Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Yeshua the son of Nun. Okay, because they weren't part of those people who gave the bad report about the land of Israel 38 years ago. The daughters of Zephalon, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. Whew, we really need to know that these women weren't just like a bunch of nobodies, right? We really the Torah is going super out of its way, which it almost never does, to give a really long lineage here. The daughters of Zephalon, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, came forward, and his daughters' names were Machla, Noah, Hogla, Michla, and Tirzah. Remember, we just read that, but now we're saying it again. The Torah is repeating itself. They stood before Moses and Eleazar the Cohen, and before the chieftains and the entire congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, "Hello, hello, we're these five daughters, and we're going to have women are totally not, they're not silenced. Nobody's shushing them. Nobody's saying that they're asking an inappropriate question. They're completely and utterly visible here, and we know their names. Our father died in the desert, but he was not in the assembly that banded together against the land in Korach's assembly. But he died for his own sin, and he had no sons. See, he wasn't part of this whole Korach thing. He did his own thing. We're admitting that he did something wrong. He did his own sin, but he didn't have any sons. Why should our father's name be eliminated from his family because he had no son? Give us a portion along with our father's brothers. So Moses brought their case before the Lord. Now, wait a minute. Aren't we taught that the whole Torah is given at Sinai? See, this is not at Har Sinai. This is not happening at Har Sinai. This is happening 38 years later, right before we get into Eretz Israel, and we just had all the land portioned by lots, and these women come forward and say, "Wait a minute, don't forget about us. You can't leave. We're not going to be left out of this." And Moses had to check in with God. See, we don't just make things up. We don't just decide on our own what the right thing to do is. Moses actually asked God. Totally didn't make it up. And that ends the third aliyah. And we're about to find out, dun, 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 what's going to happen to these. What is God going to tell Moses to do? Tune in to the next aliyah.